Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode, a brand new series. I'm going to try and do this as often as I can. I don't know if I'll be able to do this every day, but I'll try to at least update you guys and do a Q&A every other day, every third day, specific to the Bitcoin situation with the forks and the SegWit2x. And I will be at my base of operations in New York, where I have multiple monitors and everything is set up, so there won't be any sound issues because I can see everything. And so this is the time I want to focus on the user-activated soft fork and SegWit2x and see what's going on with that. So a quick note before I get into it. Yeah, sorry I couldn't do the show last night. I was just tired and I wanted to go to sleep. So that was it. So I'm doing it today, and then I'll try and do one of these again, maybe even tomorrow, because I have not had time to do all of my proper reading, and I want to do all my reading as much as I can and put all of the relevant links in the video description. All right, let me do a quick screen share. I'm going to briefly mention on the price, though that is not the focus on this video here today, okay? Here's my website. Definitely please go and read this article. The significance of August 11th, okay? That is still very, very relevant, okay? So yesterday's video, so yesterday I did this video about me trying to set up my miner. I will get this done before August 1st. I will be mining if I have to burn down my entire cabin with improper power supplies. So thank you very much for those that commented. It's been very, very helpful. Paula, you are a godsend. Your comments to all of my videos are awesome. Please keep doing it. Probably my most informative commentator on all of my stuff. It's been very, very good, very, very helpful. And please keep it up. Several other people have been very helpful as well. So I did go to Amazon and I did order an additional power supply. So instead of ordering this 1,300 watt, $360 power supply, what I ordered was this 650 watt power supply, because I will use this to run one side of my miner for power, and I'll use my current power supply to run the other half of my power supply for the miner. And that should solve my power problem for the miner. The other thing that I learned thanks to making that video is that I need a better power supply for the Raspberry Pi 3. So Raspberry Pi 3 power supply, right? So I also picked up one of these. I forgot. I think I got the one with like the longest cord. Oh, I should have got this one, 6.5 foot cord. I think I got like a 6 foot cord one. Yeah, well, I mean, they're all fine, but so what I've been informed is not to run the power supply from my laptop power, but to run it from on its own. I know I have all of these USB chargers like all over my house, everywhere, but I think I got one of these anyway, whichever one had like a 6 foot cord, and it's a 2.5 amp with yeah, I got one of these. So so that should give the proper power to the Raspberry Pi, and with the additional power supply that I just ordered, this should be in when I get back from California on like July 28th. I'm going to go ahead and set all that up, and then I should finally be good to go mining the user-activated soft fork side. So please check out this video. Where am I? Yeah, so please check out this video on setting up a miner. So I have, I mean, trying to do this, I understand why miners, it's difficult. It's not easy being a miner. And I'm just dealing with one miner, and these guys are dealing with like, hundreds of miners. So I can see why this is a very stressful job. And so I can see why they kind of want to have a significant say in the future of Bitcoin. The problem is, if miners have a significant say in the future of Bitcoin, then yes, my mind. Yeah, the video didn't come out all that great. Maybe I'll reshoot it like the day before. I'll like prepare for it and stuff much better. Yeah, this is like, again, me setting up my miner. So I understand why miners want to have a lot more say, because this is a serious operation. I mean, the amount of time and money and effort that I'm spending trying to put my one miner online, I can only imagine these giant mining farms. But on the flip side, if these giant mining farms actually have a say in Bitcoin code, then we got a big problem. Then Bitcoin is worthless, right? It's not decentralized, right? Like right now, the world is kind of putting up with the centralization of mining because it's completely independent from Bitcoin source code. But if Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin source code are now colluding together, then Bitcoin is no longer decentralized. Then everyone has a huge problem with the centralization of mining in China. And there will be no confidence in the price of Bitcoin. And speaking of the price of Bitcoin, it looks like the price is going up. Right now, it's all confidence. Earlier in the week, when everyone started posting how the test net for SegWit2x has like forked into 2 Bitcoins, and they couldn't even test everything properly, that caused a huge confidence drop in Bitcoin, and I believe it greatly contributed to the price crash here on the daily chart. Now that BIP91 has been launched and miners like Antpool have started signaling for it, it's bringing back some confidence. And I think I called the low of this move fairly well. Granted, I didn't get it right to the dollar. I was off by about $100, but I was also right, to within 12 hours of the reversal of the price move. And on the current price move, I am looking for about 2,300, and I'm using stamp right here. So like 2,250, 2,300, and this is still a 9. And I mentioned it earlier today on Today in Bitcoin on the World Crypto Network, so check that out. And I am looking for a 1 to 4 candle bounce, and then a potential lower low or a breakout to the upside. And honestly, nobody freaking knows. Nobody knows. I don't know what's going to happen August 1st. I don't know what's going to happen August 11th. Okay. So here is a timeline from Bitcoin Magazine. Okay. And and I'm going to talk about a slightly different timeline as well, and then I'm going to talk about my opinion on what's going on with all of this, okay? So we have now reached, and I'm sorry, I haven't had time to read any other articles. I'm basically going by my own opinions and what the price is telling me. The price tells me a lot. I trust the price. I'm a technical trader. So the price going up tells me that everything so far has been good as of yesterday with the SegWit2x signaling of BIP91. And the price crashing, I could have told you that SegWit2x screwed up their code and showed their incompetence. The price told me that. Reddit didn't tell me that. The price told me that, okay? Like, I don't need Reddit. The price tells me what's going on in a development of Bitcoin, right? Okay? And the price going up like this, right off a perfect technical signal, the way it bounced and the way the price is trading right now is telling me that SegWit2x is working as it should. But if SegWit2x crashes in about 3 hours, the price will be at 1,800 or 1,700. Okay, and I'll talk about why that is a little later, hopefully. Okay, so this is where we are right now, right? So this has been launched. So it has been deployed. And BIP91 signaling, I believe, is starting, and it might even be starting a little bit ahead of schedule, okay? I'm not too sure about this, right? But the July 21st official signaling goes live. Now, it needs to get locked in by July 23rd, ideally, okay? And then it should get activated a couple of days later. This is like everything speeding up the timeline. Now, the last day, the deadline is, of course, July 29th, and this deadline will not be reached, okay? So let me, you know what, let me do one thing real quick here. Can I, yeah, so this is me working with like developers for to update my numerical indicator, I just want to file. Oh, you know what? Let me open a new one. Notepad. Excellent. Okay, so someone earlier today on Skype, one of the people that's been very, very helpful in helping me set up my miner and helping me, get through a bunch of my issues, he sent the following list. Send me the following, list. I hope you guys can see that. Maybe I can make it bigger. Can I make it bigger? Font. 16. Excellent. No, maybe I'll make it a little bigger than that. 22. Excellent. Okay, so here we go. So he sent the following list, right? So BIP141, and I have the relevant articles in the description of this video, but I'll update them. So BIP141 is not going to happen. The miners had their chance to get SegWit in with the least amount of disruption, but instead they abused the privilege of signaling for the code change that they were ready to make the code change, and they turned it into a political arena like voting for a congressman or a president. And that did not fly with the users of Bitcoin or the core developers that spent 2 years, programming code that nobody told them was going to be controversial. Okay, so this is not happening. All right, so what else we got? So next on the agenda was BIP148, right? And it has a chance of a chain split. Now, a chain split is not a hard fork. This is the important part. A chain split would eventually reorganize the legacy chain into the new chain. So BIP148 is gonna start on August 1st. No one can do anything about it. There are all these, rumors all over the blogosphere that BIP148 will not have the mining support to be effective. I don't believe that for a second. It was more believable to me that Hillary had a 700% greater chance of winning than Trump, like 7 times the advantage of winning over Trump in a presidential election, because no one was going to vote for Trump. In the reality, no one was telling you they were going to vote for Trump because they didn't want to deal with the bullshit that comes with telling you ahead of time that you're going to vote for Trump. Same thing with the Brexit, by the way, and the UK leaving the European Union. Nobody was telling you ahead of time that they were going to vote for the Brexit because no one wanted to deal with with the consequences of the socialists knowing that you're going to do that, right? Now, in this case, it's a little bit different. You have a pretty big mining silent, they're not even a majority, but they're enough to make a difference in the user-activated soft fork. In my opinion, in order for the user-activated soft fork to succeed, all we need is 20 to 25% mining power within the first 2 to 3 days. That is all we need. Within the first couple of days, all we need is 20 to 25% mining power, okay? F2 pool alone can make this happen. F2 pool and Bitfury, and we're done. And user-activated soft fork has won. Not to mention all of the small independent miners. Here's the deal. If there is only 2 or 3% mining power on the user-activated soft fork side of the equation, it will take a long time to find the first block. However, even though it can take a long time to find the first block, if there is only 2 to 3% mining power, and you are part of that mining power, you yourself have a very high probability of finding that block. So there's no reason for 20 or 30% of the mining hash power to tell the world that they're gonna mine that side of the fork, because the more people move to the user-activated side of the fork on midnight or 1 a.m. on August first, the less probability each one of them has of making that mining reward, even if that mining reward comes later on in the day or even the following day, okay? So it is to no one's advantage to do that, right? But it will hit you. Now, the stupid thing is, the stupidity is on the economic node side. And it's hard even to say stupidity. It's only stupidity from the big companies like Coinbase, which are completely clueless 90% of the time. BitPay, which is a subsidiary of Bitmain now. So a lot of these really, really big, really, really financed operations, they're now, everyone, you start Coinbase, you start BitPay as this libertarian rebel going against the man, going against the banking sector. And then when you realize you are one of the 3 or 4 biggest companies in the crypto space, you now try to take over power. This is why I was a way bigger libertarian 2 or 3 years ago coming into this space. And the way I've seen Bitcoin and crypto just corrupt everyone that had their own, like from Eric Voorhees on down, everyone shows up here, this big, great libertarian. And then when the money starts rolling in, when you start to get close to that, power chair to actually, be a significant player in the market, all your libertarian rules go out the freaking window. And now all it is to be in charge and to have your way be the highway, right? So I don't have respect for almost any of those people anymore, okay? I did not work for any company. I remain independent, and I always stayed on the path of, what Bitcoin is here to do and what it stands for. And I do not want a concentration of power. I do not want the same people to have control of mining and exchanges and wallets and the media, okay? I do not want the same people in charge of all of it. I'm for to remain, to keep Bitcoin as decentralized as possible with completely independent people running each sector of the Bitcoin ecosystem, okay? So yeah, right now I am the most pissed at the leaders of the biggest companies in the crypto space, all right? So, and I don't care if I'm critical. I don't care if I never get to speak at their conferences. It's completely irrelevant to me, okay? I have my own voice. I have my own channel. So the BIP148 could go a lot smoother if the major economic nodes, because the smaller economic nodes still know what Bitcoin stands for, and they are fully in support of BIP148. But it's the bigger companies that don't want to support it because they're scared. They're scared, and they're gonna do whatever it is the big miners tell them to do. Okay, they're completely scared to stand up to the miners. All right. And even though I have a slightly higher respect for miners after trying to set up my rig, I still think that them trying to take over power is only going to destroy Bitcoin. So you take the lesser of the two evils. So this is coming August 1st. In order to avoid BIP148 and a potential chain split, BIP91, and this is the reason why BIP91 is in front on this list, BIP91 has been put into the system, and this is why when you look at this timeline right here, you can see that it only takes 2 days to lock in BIP91. From signaling to lock-in is only 2 days if 90% of the miners are signaling. With BIP91, it was going to take like months or weeks. I don't even remember at this point, right? It's going to take a long time to lock it in after signaling. And you needed 95% signaling. With BIP91, you only need 80% signaling, and it locks you in after only 2 days of consistent signaling. This is done to avoid the chain split that would come with BIP148. But if the economic nodes support BIP148, the chain split and 20 to 25% of mining power, the chain split would be resolved very, very quickly And if you were trading on the BIP148 side of the fork, not the fork, sorry, of the chain split, you're not at risk of losing any Bitcoin. Here is the problem with BIP191. The problem with BIP191 is that it's not a standalone BIP like BIP148 that was written by the trusted team of core developers, okay? And I don't know if I have the chart of core developers on this laptop. So I'm also in a laptop transition right now, and I have to switch laptops again later this week. So I'm just like not putting anything on this thing yet. I have to send it back to the manufacturer. Long story, you don't want me to get into it. So anyway, so BIP148 was at least written by a couple of core developers, and it's pretty much standalone. There isn't any additional, garbage in the code. The problem with BIP91 and why there was a lack of confidence last week in BIP91 crashing the price by so much is the fact that BIP91 is inside the code base for SegWit2x, which is not only risky of a chain split. In my non-professional opinion, my profession has always been to work with developers, and even though I'm not a developer, I had a pretty good skill set of separating competent developers from incompetent developers, and the incompetent developers would have been fired if it wasn't for so much politics in the financial world, okay? Thank God there were no unions, but it was very difficult to fire anyone. So when you had an incompetent developer, you just keep moving into different developer teams to make sure they don't cause, more and more problems. That's pretty much what happened with Gavin Andreessen and Mike Hearn and Jeff Garzik, right? Like the incompetent developers, you get them out. And quite often, other teams picked them up. So this happened on Wall Street. This happens on Wall Street all the time. Like you have multiple developer teams for different parts of your financial organization, and you have a completely incompetent developer. So you go to so you try to give them like the shittiest possible tasks so you can cause the least amount of damage. But if he still causes damage and you can't take it anymore, and you have difficulty in firing that developer, you try and put him on a different team for completely different tasks. Like you try to like move him from back-end development to like front-end development, because that developer can cause less damage. Okay, so that's kind of what's happening here. So when the bad developers get kicked out of core, they now move on to other teams that think that developer can work for them, right? So the problem with BIP91 is that it's wrapped up inside a slew of incompetence that is coding SegWit2x, okay? Now SegWit2x itself is a two-pronged problem. So let's ignore the 2x part of the situation. Forget the 2x. We're going to deal with the 2x in a couple of months, unless the blatant incompetence in coding SegWit2x accidentally or purposely, maliciously creates the 2x part of the equation early because they screwed up another part in the code, right? So assuming that the incompetence of SegWit2x programming doesn't kill us in the next 3 to 4 weeks, the SegWit2x can bring us BIP191 and avoid the chain split. But is the risk of SegWit2x causing catastrophic problems even higher than a chain split? Is it worth it, or should we just, risk the BIP148 chain split? Okay, this is the decision that people are trying to make right now. Okay, the no change part of the equation is very, very unlikely. Very unlikely. The reason why it's unlikely, the only way there is no change is if BIP148 gets absolutely no mining support, like none, not even 3% of the mining. And then within a week, we do not get 3% of the mining, and we kind of get nothing. And then the BIP148 side just disappears. and there is no change. Because if BIP148 only has 5 to 15%, again, these are my opinions. If BIP148, and I really need to write them up in an article, and I'm going to try and do that this week as well if I find the time. If BIP148 gets 5 to 15% of the mining power, so not my 20 to 5%, which is enough to get the rest of the miners to come over, but enough to keep the chain alive, that creates this situation. Actually, that situation is not even here. That creates the, what is it, Bitcoin ABC? I can't even keep up with this shit. Bitcoin ABC, which is the Bitmain / BTC / Bitcoin.com. I mean, I think they're all just working together, right? I think that this is the complete, this is the great collusion, right? And you know, Bitmain. I'm gonna put Bitmain / Antpool, like, that's all, you know, one organization, right? So if we get 5 to 15% user activated soft fork BIP148 hash rate, I think this has a huge possibility in that they will hard fork their side of the chain. They will hard fork the legacy chain. Okay, I see that coming. Now, I think Bitcoin ABC is, I think, emerging. I think, oh man, Bitcoin ABC, formerly known as Emergent Consensus, formerly known as Bitcoin Unlimited, formerly known as Bitcoin Classic, formerly known as Bitcoin XT. This is all the same shit. It's all the same shit. It's all trying to get you a bigger block. You do a bigger block so that you concentrate mining even further and you keep the fees high. This is the motivation of creating bigger blocks. You increase propagation time of validating the block you just found, and you keep the 2 second layer solutions down, bringing more and more shit onto the Bitcoin protocol, creating more and more fees. Okay, both via BTC and Jihan are on record as saying SegWit will make fees too low, which is ironic because the biggest argument of Roger Ver is that fees are too high and we need bigger blocks for lower fees. Anyway, it's just complete doublespeak. It's so annoying. So my view on it is that no change is very, very unlikely, because for this to happen, in my opinion, you need 0 to 5% hash rate for user-activated soft fork BIP148, and I just don't see that happening. I think that's way too low, okay? If it's 5 to 15 consistently, in my opinion, then you have a high probability of this. And then if you get 20, 20 to 25% hash, then for user-activated soft fork BIP148, in my opinion, all miners will switch. Now, at this point, Bitcoin ABC attempting to hard fork Bitcoin would be completely stupid, and it would lead to a loss of like millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? So they have, in my opinion, this is their sweet spot. This is their sweet spot to hard fork Bitcoin, and they would need greater, in this case, in my opinion, again, and I'm not a mining expert, they would need greater than 51% of all hash, need greater than 51% of all hash rate to succeed. No, to maintain, I'm going to call it big block Bitcoin. Triple B. Big block Bitcoin. Okay. So that's my opinion, right? Now, Bitmain itself, with YBTC and with Bitcoin.com, they'll probably have 35 to 40% on their own. The question is, will they get another, 15% or so of mining hash rate to join them? Because this right here is complete collusion, right? And here is the problem. If they get another 15% of the hash rate onto their triple B, it's a good rating, by the way. The triple B rating is junk rating, so this is going to be great. I'm going to call it triple B rated, like a triple B rated bond. It would be like a triple B rated Bitcoin. And I wish, like we have like Adam Back, right? So on the core, right? Oh man, too bad people like Peter Will and Greg Maxwell and Luke Dash Jr. Too bad their names don't start with the letter A, like Adam Back, because I would love to have, like a AAA side of the coin that I can coin their words. So here's the problem, right? If Bitcoin ABC hard forks Bitcoin, I think they would need at least 51% of the overall hash rate in order to maintain their, triple B rated Bitcoin. But here's the problem. If they do this, and I really need to write this up in an article, right? If they do this, their Bitcoin is not going to be compatible with the other Bitcoin, right? And if you take 100% of their hash rate, let's say, let's give them 70%, right? Let's say they get 70% of the overall hash rate, okay? So triple B, oh, wow, that was bad. Triple B gets 70% of total hash. But, Bitmain via BTC and Bitcoin.com, right? The creators, right? The creators of Bitcoin ABC are approximately 35% of total hash. So you have complete miner centralization on the BB side, right? So triple B will be 51% plus of one centralized entity, right? That also controls the development, right? So you have 51% of mining and 100% of code development. What idiot, what simpleton is going to want to mine on this chain? Just think about it. Think about it. Of course, Coinbase will be happy and BitPay will be happy because at this point, I have to be assumed they're being run by complete retards, right? I mean, you have 51% of mining triple B Bitcoin and 100% of code of code development, of code dev, right? Of code dev, 100% of code dev. What the hell is that? How is that even like a decentralized coin at that point, right? So this is completely stupid. This is it's just another scare tactic. For what reason? I don't know, because I don't think anyone was happy with the big drop in Bitcoin. I mean, if you bought it, I think the price is still going up. I don't even know what the price is now. Yep, price is looking good. 21.44 on 21.44 on Bitfinex, and oh wow, Bitfinex is now higher than Bitstamp. I mean, wow, these exchanges are really going back and forth. What's the ratio? What's my Bitstamp Bitcoin ratio looking like? Yeah, look at that. Look at that, guys. Boom. Back to even. This is good. Back to even. Excellent. We're back at 1-to-1. So now I don't have to like worry about which charts I'm looking at. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. What was happening? But this is good. This means I can look at Bitstamp and BIP148 interchangeably again. Okay, so there you go. So the price is going up. So all right, I didn't really mean to go off on this tangent, but so this is pretty much my view of the situation. I will try and do another video. I hope I'm not going to be repetitive. I really need to write this up in an article, maybe before I do another video and go through these. I also need to, now that Jimmy Song is back from his vacation, I should probably talk to him some more. He's been diving into this and he knows the numbers way more than me. We may disagree on, you know, this number or this number or the in-between number or this number. We may disagree on how much hash rate the BIP148 is going to get, but he has done a lot of research on the outcomes. Okay, so let's do one more thing here. Okay, so I did not have time to fact check this, right? But so Eric Wall, wow, it's really loud behind me. It's kind of windy. Those are my blinds. So Eric Wall put together a chart that I've zoomed in on. I have not had time to fact check it. It looked really good. I'm about to glance at it now. We can look at it together, and then I'm gonna take some Q&A. Or you know what? Well, let's do it another way. Let me fact check this. So this link is in the description. Please check it out. And maybe I'll do another video later today after I read through this timestamps. It's as of today, yesterday, July 16th. It should be up to date. Looks like this was a lot of work. It's probably better than anything I could have done. I want to check this out. Here is his tweet on this on that. I would have taken a screenshot and stuff, but maybe I'll take a screenshot. Maybe I'll maybe I'll put my comments on it. But anyway, the link is in my description. I want to get to your questions instead. I was going to go through this instead, but I decided to go this route. Okay, so hope that made sense as I went through it. So these are my thoughts on the overall situation. I'll do more of these videos as I go. Let me get to your Q&A because I have a phone call in about 15 to 20 minutes. And I'll do more of these user-activated soft fork videos and what we have to look forward to. I also have to, read up on the latest news. There are also lots of articles in the description of this video, and I'm gonna update that as well. All right, so throw in your questions. I don't even know, what are we gonna put in the background? Actually, nothing. I'm gonna turn my camera back up. Throw your questions in there. Have I seen the Andrew DeSantis interview with, I'm assuming this is the Vortex interview from yesterday. I have not seen it yet. I also heard that, well, you know what, let me not mention that part. No, I haven't seen it yet. I need to watch it. I also just need to read some more articles from Aaron and from Kyle. Like, honestly, if it's not an article written by Jimmy Song or Aaron or Kyle, or there was like another, I mean, there's only like maybe, or there's only like 5 or 6 people that I read. As far as I know, everybody else is almost clueless on the situation, including some of the CEOs in the space, completely clueless. Guys, this is not the time to talk about shitcoins or or anything else. Let's focus on Bitcoin. If you even considering asking me about anything that isn't Bitcoin, I just don't even waste time typing. Again, I'm not going to talk about altcoins, not even Litecoin, even though I do have Litecoin as my donation address. This continued turmoil is not helping the credibility of Bitcoin. No, it shows you how decentralized Bitcoin is. Can you please tell me how Bitcoin can survive with full army of nation states if they choose to destroy it after taking? Well, here's the thing, right? It's actually a lot easier to destroy something from within than to destroy something from outside in, right? Like Rome collapsed from within. No one took over Rome. Rome collapsed from within, right? Like no one took over the British Empire. The British Empire, you know, almost collapsed from within, right? Most empires collapse from within. I think that Bitcoin has a bigger risk with what we're dealing with now than a nation state. I think if Bitcoin was attacked by a nation state, not covertly, right? Now, if a nation state is funding insiders, which I don't subscribe to, I don't subscribe to the conspiracy theory that, well, Jihan might be working with the Chinese government, right? That's different, right? But I do not subscribe to the theory that people like Roger Ver, people like Rick Falkling, people like, well, I don't know, let me not put Gavin in this list, right? But like Roger and Rick Falkling and people like Peter R. and like some of the other big blockers that don't have, I mean, I don't subscribe that they are, you know, are secretly working with some government. I don't subscribe to that. Bitmain and Chinese miners, yeah, that makes a lot more sense, right? So if a state actors are paying, you know, very critical Bitcoin people, that's the way to bring down Bitcoin. It's not going to be an open war on Bitcoin. Like if the United States declares war on Bitcoin, they're not going to bring it down. They have a better chance of secretly funding Bitcoin development and Bitcoin media and Bitcoin mining. Though I don't believe that's happening, at least not with media and development. Now, the reason why I trust Bitcoin Core is because the personalities of these people will not allow them to be bought by the government. And I can't say that about people like Garzik and people like Gavin Andreessen. I'm not a fan of Ryan X. Charles at all, and I'll be on a panel with him next week in California. So well, let's see how pissed off I get as to what I say on that panel. Exactly, like fake Satoshi. Fake Satoshi is a 50-50 for me. I don't think he's stable enough to be paid off by any state actor. So I think he's just, you know, a nutso on his own, believes in his own delusions. So I don't think, yeah, so he's in the same boat as like Roger and Rick Falkling. I think they believe in what they're saying, and I don't believe that they've been corrupted by the state. Now, I can be proven wrong, but I don't subscribe to that conspiracy theory at all, right? I just think that they're wrong in their beliefs on the future of Bitcoin and what's better for Bitcoin, okay? But a blatant open attack by a state actor is less scary to me personally than the current situation. And look, I don't know if Bitcoin is going to fall more, right? I mean, I update everyone as I go. As what I know, you guys. All right, hold on. I can't take it. Oh man, good thing I was wearing pants. Actually, that again, that doesn't always happen. So this almost became a an NASF video. All right, next. Yeah, I know. I have so many must-watch things that I think I just lost my place here. I know I'll try and watch Andrew DeSantis at some point tonight. Microsoft is involved in a lot of blockchain stuff. Maybe I think they're kind of clueless on what the definition of a blockchain is because they've been listening to too many people like Vitalik Buterin and R3 nuts and Ripple nuts, and so If you tell me that like IBM or Microsoft mean anything, no, they're just throwing money in the toilet. Now NVIDIA, they might, and Intel, they might actually know something. All right, let's move on. Guys, I don't know if it'll dip again. This is not a price video. This is more of a what the hell is going on with the base video. I know what. Well, again, right? When you say SegWit2x going to activate, that's a wrong question. As I explained earlier in this video, SegWit2x is a shell of code. Inside that shell is BIP91, future code for a 2x increase, and some other garbage which may or may not be malicious, may or may not be buggy, and may or may not be activated due to incompetence or maliciously on purpose. Like, nobody freaking knows, right? So you can't ask a question, will SegWit2x activate? The question you need to ask is BIP91 going to activate with the SegWit2x shell on top of it? And the price action today is suggesting that it might. At least that's the way it's leaning, okay? So the price is suggesting that BIP91 will activate. Is this a dead cat bounce? Very possible, but we don't know. The price will need to get, we're coming up on resistance here. We're gonna come up at resistance at around 2,200. If we break the 2,200 resistance, we're gonna go up to 2,300, and that's when, if you took the bullish trade, like my tweet suggested, around 1950, taking your profit at 2,300 is not a bad idea, because if this is a dead cat bounce, it is most likely going to end in the vicinity of 2,300. Okay, so that's when you take your profit, and if it breaks out to 2425, then you know you're in the clear, and then you can load up on your Bitcoin. Okay. Yeah, you got to watch my price videos. I don't want to get into a price debate here. I just want to talk about the SegWit2x stuff. Well, right. I mean, like, the big price drop because Bitcoin can't get its shit together, and the reality, people would be fired. People were fired. Gavin Andreessen was fired. Jeff Garzik was fired. Mike Hearn was fired. The problem is that you fire someone. Again, right? I don't want to like do personal stories, but it's hard to fire people because there's other stupid people that like those people's personalities that bring them back. When I was an undergraduate, I was doing multiple degrees, but one of the degrees I was doing was a math degree, right? And I also was doing science degree, so I was taking my physics. There was a professor in the physics department that was absolutely terrible, and he was literally fired from the physics department. The problem is he was then hired by the math department then after, because he had, I don't know, he had some famous PhD or whatever it was, right? He was then hired by the math department, and I had the pleasure of taking my final math course with this guy. I think it was, what was it? What's the calculus, like the proofs of calculus? Not abstract algebra. This is the one with abstract algebra. Oh, man. Intermediate analysis? I don't even remember anymore, right? It was like, basically, it was, you have to like prove calculus theorems by like writing. It was like more writing than math in this class, right? And this was a class for seniors. And most of the people there were like secondary ed math majors. They were not great mathematicians. There was about 20 people in this class. This class is offered once a year. Everyone who took that class, almost everyone, unless they were doing dual degrees like me, I had one more year in school because I had another degree to finish. I had my geology degree to finish. But anyone that had only a math degree, this is the class they take in their first semester of their senior year, and then they graduate after the following semester. This guy failed half the class. One person got an A. I think it was my first ever B in a math class. I think I got a B+. There were 20 people in the class. One guy got an A. I had the second highest grade with a B+. There were maybe 2 other Bs, maybe like 3 Cs, and everybody else failed. This guy prevented half the math program that year in my college from graduating on time. That has never happened before. Usually like one or two people gets like screwed. They had to offer this class during the summer with another professor, something that college has never done before in history, because half your graduating class was not going to graduate because of one professor. And I had a 4.0 math GPA until I ran into this guy's class. And I had the second highest average in that entire class. So this shows you that incompetent people do get fired, but they're usually brought back by other incompetent people. That's a real life story. And this is what we're dealing with in the space right now. Let's see here. Yeah, like some of these questions are just not like worth me answering. Guys, no financial institution is manipulating Bitcoin. It's not even, it's barely on their radar. All right, let me look for more questions. There's just so much chatter in yeah, if you start with the word question or ping my name, like @ToneVase, it'll be a lot easier for me to spot. I think I went over all of the possible outcomes already. If miners and users can't both get their way, that's just not the way how life works. Okay, if miners get their way, I'm out. If users get their way, I'm still in. But we'll see how dangerous the environment is. You store your Bitcoin as long as you have your private key. So you can do it on a Trezor. You can even do it on paper wallets. I mean, you can store it on a Bitcoin full node. As long as you have control of your private key, like Airbits, as long as you're pinging a BIP148 node, if you think that BIP148 will survive. Otherwise, just don't use it, and you just wait. But don't store them on an exchange, because that's dangerous, and the bigger exchanges don't know what the hell they're doing. Guys, these are very general questions. What do I think before the price before August 1st? We can go up to 4,000, and we can fall. Then we can fall to 1,000, and then we can come back to exactly where we are. All of that can happen by August 1st. And I don't know in what order it happens until I see it happening. I do not have a crystal ball to tell you where the price is going to be between now and August 1st. I can't even tell you where the price is going to be on Friday. Okay, all I can say is 2 days ago, even 3 days ago, when the price started falling, those that watch me consistently would have heard me say, when this gets to a 9, when we have 5 consecutive down days, and even though this is technically a down day according to the indicator, when this indicator gets to a 9, it's a buy point. If the price falls to the bottom of this green channel at 1950, it's a buy point. So far, that prediction was very, very accurate, even though I was off by $100 on the numerical value. But if you find me anyone that's been more accurate, I would be impressed. And now I think we're going to go up for 3 to 4 days. After that, I'll make another decision. Are we going to keep going up, or are we going to reverse? And I have no idea. We got to reverse first, right? So I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, guys. Whatever I know, you already know. Asking me questions about price is almost pointless, because I don't have any secrets, right? Like everything I think about price is in my videos. There's no secret knowledge. And if I had any secret knowledge, I would save it for my consulting clients, right? And which, by the way, I'm doing today, which is why this video has to end soon. I give a little more info to my consulting clients, but not much. The only reason my consulting clients get more info is because they ask me, questions in a different setting, and I can think about it, and I might answer them something because I have more time to think about what I'm saying. And then on the following video, I inform everybody else. So my private clients get a bit of a heads up on my thoughts, but there's no like secret formula. Like this is my formula right here on, oh wait, you guys don't even see the screen. I haven't been doing screen share. Yeah, asking me about price is kind of useless. I mean, I called for a reversal of the 9. I called for a reversal of the 9, but the reversal is on this candle. I mean, you could have taken the bottom of the candle. You could have taken the top of the candle. That's not my problem, right? That's why you're trading with your own money and making your own decisions, right? To me, the 9 candle was a reversal. Obviously, I told people 1950 is my buy point. And that was because it was the bottom of the channel. And so far, so good. Let's see how long it lasts. I have no idea. But private clients, get a jump start on my thought process, and that goes on to my videos later. So, and thank you, by the way. I'm getting a lot more people pinging me for private. Oh, computer's dying when you point that. All right, let's move on here. Where am I with the questions? You'll have to end this video in a minute, though. You know what? I'm going to talk more about the exchanges and the panics on a future video. That's a long discussion. And I'll talk about why I thought that the price can go up, because people have removed liquidity from exchanges. And though leading into crunch day, I can totally see the price crashing. And I'll talk about that on future videos. On a 1 to 10 scale, how stressed is the political battle in Bitcoin making you? I'm around a 7 right now. Can I do a 24-hour live stream? I think Facebook only allows you 8 hours maximum. We'll see. I'll think about it. Is it safe to keep your cash on an exchange? No, of course not. If an exchange gets hacked for its Bitcoin, they socialize the losses to even those people that are holding the cash. You saw that with Bitfinex. And there's always a chance of an exchange going insolvent or their money being frozen. There's like infinite amount of risks, which is why I don't have a single Satoshi or a single US dollar on a Bitcoin exchange. CFTC has approved options for Bitcoin. I have not had time to read that news. That would be very, very interesting. I'm an options trader myself. I don't know if my skill set of trading options will transfer into the Bitcoin world. And to be honest, I don't have the time to try at the moment. Someone's saying if a split happens, will I start an altcoin with person X? No. Look, if there are 2 Bitcoins, I will leave. I can't deal with this shit anymore. Like I need, like, the events of August 1st need to put me out of my misery one way or another. Either I'll have my Bitcoin and I'll be rich, or I won't, or I'll be poor. Either way, it would be nice to be put out of your misery. So there you go. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Do I think my services are useless for beginners? Kinda. I mean, I don't mind working with beginners, but if a beginner wants to pay for my services, that beginner needs to be a higher net worth individual. Look, my consulting service at 0.1 Bitcoin per hour is for high net worth individuals. It's not for someone that only has $1,000 to invest. It's not for someone that is sitting on 2 Bitcoins to their name. That's not who the service is for. I don't want to take 0.1 Bitcoin from someone that only has 1 Bitcoin and can't really afford to buy more. That's not what I'm here for. Now, I do work with some beginners if they are trading or want to be traders, Bitcoin or other, and they want to learn technical analysis. They can hire me at the same rate to teach them my understanding of technical analysis and what I like in technical analysis. I have several clients like that pay me to teach them the basics of trading and the basics of technical analysis, and that's fine. But I still expect you to have $20,000 to $25,000 to trade with, whether Bitcoin or traditional markets. Because if you only have $1,000 that you're willing to risk into trading, and you're going to pay me 0.1 Bitcoin per hour to teach you how to trade, I don't really that's not my client base. That's not who I'm interested in helping. I'm not here to scam anyone. I'm not here to take your last piece of Bitcoin promising you'll be rich. In fact, if you only have $1,000 to trade with, and you're not doing it for practice, you expect to get rich off that, I'll tell you never to trade, ever. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it a day. This video has now gone for about an hour, and I'll do more of these. SegWit2x versus BIP91. I didn't even talk about core devs. I didn't even talk about the consequences of if SegWit2x brings us SegWit. I've talked about it in other videos. There's just so much to cover. I really would have to do this as a full-time job, 8 hours a day, if you wanted to know my entire thoughts, and it would be crazy to listen to. All right, I got a lot more to learn on the situation, and I do have phone calls I got to take. So thank you very much for tuning in. We'll do more of these videos. I'll do my price analysis on Wednesday. I will be in California on Friday, in LA. I'll probably be in San Francisco on Tuesday, next Tuesday, whatever day that is. I have not bought these plane tickets. Hopefully they're still affordable. And though, my net worth has just dropped by about 30% in the last 5 weeks. So no one's happy about that. Okay. All right, guys. Good luck trading. Good luck protecting your Bitcoins, and I'll see you on the next one.